I'm Bronwen Maddox. I'm director of Chatham House, a London-based think tank founded just after the First World War to bring about peace and the rule of law, or at least to advance discussions about those. I'm delighted to have this panel here today. Next to me, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Poland, Minister Zajaczkowski. Next to him are the Ukrainian Parliamentary Commissioner for Human Rights, Dmytro Lubinets, Dr. Henry Wang, founder and president of the Center for China and Globalization. And I should say that the Deputy Foreign Minister used to be ambassador in both Beijing and Moscow, relevant to all this. Well, we have this demanding title, particularly at the moment that we're speaking, The Road to Ceasefire, a Durable Peace in Ukraine. No question mark, which sometimes is added to these things. And I'm going to ask each of the three of them to talk about, at exactly this moment that we are, when the new European-influenced proposals to Moscow have been turned down, where we are on the road to ceasefire. Deputy Foreign Minister, may I start with you?
No, okay. Thank you. First of all, I think that over the last couple of days, over the last couple of weeks, we have been very much focused on what's going on between Moscow, Kiev, and Washington in terms of negotiations. We have been also focused very much on developments in the front line in Ukraine. But what really matters actually is the test of what will happen to the international political order once a peace or a ceasefire is reached. Because this situation, the war in Ukraine, the negotiations process, it's the biggest test for international legal system over the last couple of decades. And when speaking about a ceasefire, and I am not in a position to say how all participants can reach this point. While speaking about a ceasefire or a peace, we are in a position today to say only what should be done, what should be taken into account. And I think that there are a couple of things that we have to keep in mind while speaking or considering the current situation. The first of all, legal basis, UN Charter with its basic principles. The second point, if we are speaking about the withdrawal of any troops from the current front line, it should be rather up to the Russian troops to withdraw than the Ukrainian ones. The third point, security guarantees. The fourth one, the verification mechanism. And the fifth point, the involvement of global powers in securing peace or ceasefire. I am afraid that if Russia is rewarded in territories or in political gains, it can serve as a very bad example for the future, and it's going to affect not only Europe but other parts of the world as well. It will have a huge impact on the economic life, on development assistance, and on peace and stability in Asia and Africa, in the Middle East. So. Apart from following negotiations and developments on the front line, we should keep in mind basic principles on which the peace or the ceasefire should be based.
Thank you very much for that. You've taken us to the principles, if you like. What you've described is what I might call a European vision of what we, those in Europe, would like such a settlement to be. But that doesn't seem to be what we're on course for. And indeed, the US national security strategy, which came out suddenly yesterday, portrayed Europe as an obstacle to peace with Russia.
Well, in the US security strategy, there are things that we could expect that they would appear. There were some new elements that we have to digest. Well, it's a message to different partners all over the world, to American partners all over the world. And we respond, for example, we agree with many elements of this vision. For example, when the question of defense spending is concerned, immigration, we are on the same side. So, of course, there are things that we can discuss, but there are also several elements we find rational and acceptable.
We might come back to some of those points. The national security strategy has obviously given Europe a lot to think about. Commissioner Lubinets, let me go on to you. What is the incentive for Russia to do a deal at this point?
Thank you very much. First of all, dear colleagues, let me take this opportunity to thank all international partners, all countries who support Ukraine in these dark times, Poland exactly, and others. And my special thanks to the State of Qatar for comprehensive supporting and willingness to support Ukraine, first of all, as the mediator between Ukraine and Russia in case of returning back Ukrainian children. Yesterday, the team of Ombudsman of Ukraine returned another 7 children. So in total, we returned back 1,892 Ukrainian children. You ask us, where are we now? Look, dear colleagues, I want to show you every Ukrainian now has a special app where we see the attack of the territory of Ukraine. Right now, Russian Federation again attacks the whole territory of Ukraine. You can see it right now. Only for the previous night, Russia attacked our territory by, can you imagine this number? 651 drones, 51 missiles, and as a result, several people were injured, including children. This is our reality. So I think that when we are talking about ceasefire, we need to talk about willingness of countries who are under international armed conflict, not only to talk about ceasefire, but to do some exact steps to make this ceasefire. So the first that I want to emphasize, this is the willingness. And to be honest, I think that Russian Federation doesn't want to stop this war. Doesn't want. They continue, Russians want to continue to try to occupy as much Ukrainian territories as they can. And this is our reality. And to be maximum open with you, dear colleagues, when we are talking about Charter of UN, this is the question of all of us. Do we still believe that we have the real mechanisms of reaction for the aggression or prevention the aggression. If someone in this place still believes that we have the real mechanisms, international system for protection or reaction of the aggression. UN Charter, we have a lot of resolutions, conventions, etc. Russian Federation doesn't think about all these papers, sorry. We have a huge problem with IHL because international humanitarian law, now this is the rules only for countries who are respect of IHL. What about in others? What about Russia? What about Northern Korea? What about Belarus? What about Iran? All these countries now, as countries who did aggression against our country from 2014 and daily violate a whole system of IHL of all the world. Do we still that we can live on the rules that have been created after the ending of Second World War? Or now we see that Russia wants to restore international system and to give a new rule. We had a rule, the main rule is power of law. Now we have a new one, law of power. Who are the powerest? Who are the biggest? That country can do absolutely what they want with another countries. This is the box of Pandora's box. Now we see that Russian Federation occupied the whole the 20% of the territory of Ukraine, and Russia continued demands that Ukraine must give Russia another territory. This is the real step to the ceasefire? I think no. I think that world should wake up and to understand that together only joining common efforts for giving another arguments to Russia and others, we can stop this war and we can create a real effective mechanisms, effective tool for the reaction for this aggression.
Can you? Yeah, there's a lot of support for what you were saying. But again, you're putting a lot of emphasis on that word should. And yet that is not how Russia is behaving. And it is not how the US is behaving, where it produced in its document and in some of its recent statements no discussion of principles saying we want a ceasefire. So can Ukraine keep fighting just with European support?
I'm not the military. But anyway, look, I had in my life, to be honest, my own experience how to fight for my native country. I'm from Donetsk region, and my family faced with this Russian aggression in 2014. I'm from small city Volnovakha. It's between Donetsk and Mariupol. And on that period, we stopped the Russian aggression for the 15 kilometers before Volnovakha. So I know how it was to be absolutely civilian person, but to fight for your country. This is not the question for Ukrainian nation. We are ready to continue to fight with assistance of European Union, with assistance of another countries, with assistance, military, I mean, first of all, military assistance of the United States, or without. Because this is not for us simply war. This is existential war. We or continue fight for our nation, or we will disappear as a nation from the political map of independent countries. This is our reality, we know it. So the question now, is still Ukraine fighting? Yes. Do we have problems? Yes. Do we need assistance for all of countries, first of all of EU countries? Yes, because this is not the only country between, as I said, between Russian Federation and Ukraine. This is the war, international armed conflict between a group of countries. And Russia wants to, first of all, to occupy not only Ukraine. Look, this is very important. Please note it. Russia started aggressive policy against another independent countries in 1992 when Russia occupied the part of territory of independent Moldova. What was the reaction of international society? Deeply concerned or zero? Next, the first war, Republic of Ichkeria, the second, 2008, aggression against independent Georgia. I'm finishing. And in
there is a long Russian history, which
yeah,
we don't
absolutely.
have time for now.
But this is a long history of Russian invasion to another countries, and very small history of reaction of this invasion and aggressors. So that's why when Russia started aggression against Ukraine in 2014, for us from that period, it's not the question for our willing. This is the question of our existence. So yes, Ukrainian nation are ready to continue to fight with assistance of our international partners or even without. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Wang, both speakers have described Russia's invasion of Ukraine as an offense against the UN Charter and against principles of sovereignty. Do you accept that perspective?
Thank you, Dr. Maddox, and also Doha Forum. I think this war has been getting to almost close to 4 years now. It's very tragic, and it's very the damage to the global system as well, and as also I think China has expressed many times that for Mr. Wang, you actually said at the very beginning of the Munich Security Conference that respect sovereignty, territorial integrity. I think what has been really moving now is the progress we've seen. The U.S. is pushing for this 28 or 20 or whatever peace plan that is going on. And but however, I think that almost the 4-year war, Ukraine is not just against Russia, but also there's a EU, there's U.S. So there's whole West. Basically, it's a conflict could be extended to a West against Russia. So in that sense, I think in this multipolar world, we probably need some third countries that are not involved in this war, and also significant enough, like countries like China, India, Brazil, South Africa. China has made a 12-point peace plan. I think during the second after 1-year anniversary of the war, and then China and Brazil has made a 6-point peace plan, and also is formed the Friends of Peace at the UN. So I would think that it would be really great to have these BRICS countries to get involved on this peacemaking, and so that we can really make sure that there will be more important guarantors in addition to NATO, EU, US, but maybe China, India, Brazil, and South Africa. So I would think that currently it's really stuck there, and but how we can get a UN approach, let's say maybe a UN peace summit. I wrote an op-ed when war broke out in 2022. I said, let's have a 7-party talk, P5 plus Ukraine plus EU, and but also recently I wrote an op-ed again at Foreign Policy before Alaska. I said, BRICS countries can really play a more significant role in terms of maintain the peace and mediating the peace. So I think it's probably time to involve more important players, like what we did for the Iranian, 7-party involvement many years ago. And of course, this is important. We have to get a more multilateral approach to solve this issue.
So let me ask you just a few things about that. The first word on the opening ceremony of this forum was justice, and it stood up there in big letters. And Ukrainians and indeed many Europeans are saying, why is it just if Russia is allowed to take land by force. What is your answer to that?
Well, I would think that we see what U.S. has been saying. We see what President Zelensky has been saying. You know, the battle line, the whatever now, that we need to achieve a ceasefire, and then if we achieve a ceasefire, then let's go to the peacemaking process. And I think China, for both Ukraine and Russia, China is their largest trading partner. And then, both are also Belt and Road countries, including Ukraine. And so I think, China can play a very significant role in the post-war construction for Ukraine as well. And I think that, that's why I'm saying let's go back to the UN, Security Council. Let's really sort this out. If US and Russia can agree something, let's get all the other Security Council members involved together. And then let's really settle this based on UN principles and also all the solutions that we can have.
Minister, what do you think of that, China offering to get involved? Dr. Wang has described China as not involved, though some would say, I think including in Ukraine, look, China has given Russia a bit of help. China now seeing in the US's position an opportunity perhaps to call for international pressure for a settlement.
Let me refer to we had discussions on that a few years ago in Beijing. China as a neutral country or as a country somehow involved, present in this dramatic history. Dr. Wang mentioned Western camp as an actor providing support for Ukraine and acting against Russia. Well, but there is also another camp, and some commentators say, well, axis of upheaval. Different members of this axis of upheaval are mentioned on different occasions. Sometimes China is included into this group. So we can say that we have two groups of countries. A group sharing the point of view of Ukraine and the letter of the UN Charter, and a group of countries that see a chance in this conflict to change the world order. So this would be my first reaction to your question. I think that contrary to Russia, China has kept its credibility as P5 member. Russia lost it definitely. When it decided, as a matter of fact, in 2014, when it decided to invite Ukraine to take Crimea and eastern part of Donbass. So we have 4 credible P5 members, and we can say that we behind at least one of them, 2 of them, Europeans stay. And I think that if we speak about the future order or about maintaining the current one with some amendments, some enhancements, China should be included and should play an active role. But at the same time, at least Europeans at this point would like to see China calling the war war. This is it's on the even linguistic language, on the verbal level, the word war is missing from the official Chinese narration. And as long as we do not have a common understanding of what's going on in Ukraine, that it is war, it will be hard to have a decent and constructive discussion.
Commissioner, what would you like Europe to do right now? Given Europe is not making a lot of progress on releasing frozen Russian assets, not making a lot of progress on giving you long-range missiles, is it realistic to expect help from Europe now?
Very difficult question, but we will continue to do everything for bring peace in Ukraine. Look, when I started my speech, I said about my appreciation to the state of Qatar. So when we are talking about negotiation process, about justice, it means that we need to involve, to my mind, we need to involve people who can do something concrete. Not simply talking about UN Charter, about new rules, about new possibilities, about some potential possibilities for Ukraine. We need to do small but concrete steps. In this room, I see Excellency Lul Khater. With her, in 2023, we opened this channel for returning back Ukrainian children through state of Qatar. From that period, it was unbelievable, like very difficult case. Russia said publicly that we didn't deport any Ukrainian children. It's Ukrainian propaganda. Today, we returned back 1,892 Ukrainian children. It means that we save all these children. It means that we need to do everything what we can every single day to involve a new participants, to try to find a new solutions, some concrete, not only talking. Please, when in Ukraine people against heard about international community, international partners are deeply concerned about situation in Ukraine. Oh, come on. In Ukraine, we don't have any problems. We have Russian aggression, Russian invasion in Ukraine. And we have a huge problems as a result of this aggression. We have more than, can you imagine, more than 98,000 war crimes in Ukraine that have been done by Russian soldiers. This is our reality. Millions of Ukrainian people left our territory. How many of them still live on temporarily occupied territories on the threat to be killed, maimed, deported? Nobody knows. This is our reality, the last one. Please, dear partners, don't simply discuss about situation in Ukraine. Please give to us some your concrete suggestions, your concrete steps, even small steps, but for the receiving real, just and lasting peace to Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to come in 1 minute to audience questions. Do we have some microphones? Because I know people want to ask a few questions. Dr. Wang, I want to ask you one thing. You've talked about China's role in this, the role that China could play. One of Europe's and Ukraine's biggest worries is that Russia won't stop if there's a ceasefire. It will come again for more Ukrainian territory, European countries. Is China prepared to, and does it have the ability to, say, okay, we guarantee through our relationship with Russia that Russia won't go any further?
Well, I'm not representing the government, but from think tank point of view, I do think that Foreign Minister Wang has mentioned many times China or BRICS countries are best mediators and also peacekeepers. And China is also the largest peace-sending country of the P5 country from UN. But I do disagree a bit with our Deputy Foreign Minister from Poland, is that China actually, the support of so-called support China to Russia is very different than what the West support Ukraine, because China really not supplying any weapons to Russia. As a China foreign minister spokesperson said, if China has supported the weapons to Russia, the war probably has been won already by Russia, because China is very restrained from supplying weapons. The other thing I think President Xi has said many times, there should be no nuclear war be fought in Ukraine. This war cannot be fought with nuclear. That's a very strong statement from China. And also President Xi called Zelensky, also during those peak of the war. So I think China is really important that we have a third party, not involved directly in war. China, India, and Brazil, South Africa can be really play big role. And then if you get their guarantees to this peace process, I'm sure that would be more secured than just you as a NATO guarantee. So absolutely, and the other thing is that China does the normal trade. Any country does, India and all the other countries. So normal trade between China and Russia should not be blamed. But of course, I think China does really stand to, if necessary, be invited to really jump on this peacemaking process.
I think many countries would agree that China played a useful part in getting President Putin to stop talking about using nuclear weapons. Let's try and squeak in one question. I'm going to go on the aisle here. And maybe I can get a second. It demands of the panel giving micro answers.
Thank you so much. My name is Andriy Kuzmenko. I'm ambassador of Ukraine. It's fantastic discussion, and thank you for organizers. It is clear enough for everyone that the so-called conflict in Ukraine, but indeed the war, colonial war, imperialistic war in Ukraine, this is the event, this is a process which will define the future of the humanity. It became possible...
Ambassador, will you forgive me? We have 3 minutes.
Yes.
It must be a question.
Yes. It is obvious that international law, international organization failed. What should be done to restore their credibility? Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take that as the law. I'm sorry, there's a forest of hands up. We don't have the time to allow that, but I acknowledge that. Let's go down the panel. Minister.
You mean the credibility of whom?
International law and institutions.
Well, the answer is in the UN Charter. If there is a peace or a ceasefire that will not reflect the UN Charter, the international system, the international law will be compromised.
As I said, I don't believe that according to IHL we can do something concrete with Russian Federation. This is, look, wake up. International organizations should wake up and to understand reality. When ICRC, UN agency cannot effectively work on the territory of Russian Federation because of the position of Russian Federation, so we need to have another way how to push to Russia for restoring the mandates of international organizations.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that international organization like UN should be really upheld, and the Security Council should pass a new resolution. I mean, if US, Russia, China, and all the P5 agreed, and that we should really have a forceful resolution, and then probably send in the UN peacekeeping forces. I mean, we know there's so many Global South countries are largest peace-sending countries. So, by involving UN and UN peacekeeping force, probably we can get this thing resolved and have a longer peace guarantee.
Okay, we got many votes for the UN there. It's very useful. It is possible that some of you, with your hands up, will find your questions absolutely applicable to the next speaker. We've got to go on almost immediately to Ambassador Matthew Whitaker, Permanent Representative of the US to NATO. But for the moment, can you join me in thanking this panel?